How would I describe Dan in one word? Unique.
Special.
Character.
Taxi. I think we all know why.
Tell my taxi to be ready in 15 minutes, I'm getting out of it.
I've always been a bit of a fan of Dan's, to be honest.
He definitely comes out with some of the best radio clips.
No other driver on this grid can do that. I'm telling you that now.
His radio comments are standout, and it's great to see his on-track performance becoming the new highlight reel.
Dan always had a lot of speed in the junior categories. In Formula 3, he was a double winner of the Macau Grand Prix, which is massive. In Formula 2, he showed great potential. So it wasn't long before someone in Formula E was going to look at him as a potential race driver.
If you look back at the history of Macau, it's like the who's who of motorsport celebrities. Schumacher's won it, Senna's won it, Coulthard's won it. That's where we first kind of understood what Dan was capable of.
You know, he was coming into Formula E, he'd been, you know, very successful in junior categories, been quick in everything he'd raced in, so he was super easy to get on with, really easy to work with, so he was a great teammate.
Dan's really learnt a lot over the years from his debut in 2021.
Dan Ticktum lines up for his Formula E debut.
We saw him evolve, I think, quite a lot as a person, especially in the last 6 months. I've seen a big step. I think that he was always in such a difficult situation to try and get some performance out of a very difficult car. They were struggling in the races, and what stood out for me was the fact that he remained relentless in his pursuit to get to the front, even though everything was against him.
We know Dan on a good day is as good as anyone.
Dan Ticktum take a bow, fantastic lap time from the Briton.
And then just working on Dan on a bad day and across the championship of like how you have the best results on your bad days. That's what makes a real championship level driver. So we went into Monaco with a lot of potential, delivered very well. Then the team and Dan both made a few mistakes in different parts.
What a joke. Unboxing.
He wasn't in 350 kilowatt power mode in the dual stages of qualifying.
What?
The team had put the car in the wrong mode. He still had 300 kilowatts and two-wheel drive.
Yeah, I suggest I don't talk to my team for at least 2 hours because I think might punch someone.
You know, I'd put him in a room with a mirror if he wants to go and punch somebody.
Dan recognized he needed a slight change of attitude. He needed to temper some of the rage and complement his speed with intelligence and smart racing.
Going into Tokyo, we carried on with that excellent performance, reduced some mistakes, and then the podium was there, and it was an incredible race.
Dan, this is the start of our journey. This is the start.
Well done, everyone. I'm so happy for all you guys. I really am.
You did what you promised me. Good job.
First ever career podium in Formula E for Dan Ticktum for Cupra Kiro.
Once you've got that podium under your belt, you know that you can do it. Everyone in the championship now knows that he can do it, and I think it's not going to be long before we see him standing on the top step of the podium.